take AI. How is it transforming financial technology or fintechs, right? One thing is streamlining the onboarding. So post-COVID, or pre-COVID rather, if you all remember, there was no such thing as a digital onboarding. Any customer had to visit a branch, fill a huge form, wait for a few days to get their account open, and then to get digital access, fill a few more forms, and go through that whole process. And then COVID came in came digital onboarding. And fintech started really thriving with that because we could onboard customers in hours and do the entire stream digitally. Of course, when you do that, that also comes with a lot of risks, compliance-related, operation-related risks, and we also have to evaluate the customer. So this is where AI helps. You can check whether it's a genuine customer. Is it the person, the ID, is it matching the customer? The information that they're giving, is there something that we can auto-populate rather than asking the customer? The journey, the whole journey that he sees, can it be streamlined so that it's very specific for the customer rather than giving the standard, like you go to a bank, you have a mandate which will be like 5-6 pages long to fill. It's like those visa applications. So with AI, it's very easy for people to streamline that and make it very simple and only specific to that user or the product that the user is applying for. And then personalized service. Now this personalized service can be anything from how we serve the customer, for the customer experience, or what we offer to the customer, and the products as well. Rather than having a cookie cutter approach where you will have, okay, the traditional savings account or the fixed deposit, and these are the requirements, with AI, we can have very, very personalized options for the customer. And then, of course, AI is also helping with proactive monitoring. Typically, with the number of transactions that goes through fintechs and the team that is very, very small, you need AI to identify anomalies, look at transaction patterns, and then there are regulatory requirements on how the money moves in and out, who are they sending to. Now, if you go to do that manually, it will be very, very strenuous and they'll be very labor intensive. So AI has helped fintechs drastically optimize that and at the same time be risk conscious. So as I said, so personalization, hyper personalized products. Now even we on Genie offer very specific products tailored to the customer, right? So with the AI algorithm, we can get information about the customer based on his transactional pattern, what customer inputs, right? Or the application data, the A data, plus also the B data, which is the behavioral data based on how the customer behaves on our platform, what they're interacting with, what information they provide regarding their social media with their consent. We can use all of that to streamline and provide very, very personalized products. In some cases, there are some fintechs who even go to the extent of seeing what is the consumer searching for online, where are the gaps. Look at the Google search patterns, or now it can be social media or even Instagram, seeing what are they looking for, what are the gaps, how can we fulfill that and give them a personalized experience and target them and give it to them rather than just carpet bombing them with the offers. And then pricing also now with AI, we can do very dynamic pricing, which if you go the traditional method, it's very, very difficult to do. You will have multiple people sitting there using Excels, analyzing, looking at probabilities and seeing what can be done. Now with this, it's much, much easier for us to do pricing. And we can also predict and say, okay, this might work with this customer and this might not work with this customer. And then we also get insights on the customers. AI is helping the fintechs saying, okay, your customer, this is the type of stuff he's going to respond to, this is the type you're going to go for, and we can build predictive models on that, and then which helps us predict what the behavior is going to be, when the customer is likely to churn, is the customer going to stay with us or are they going to move on, or are they here only for a specific reason, like only for an offer and not really going to use our platform, can we do something to entice them to transact with us, bring any value addition to them. All of that is possible with AI. Right. Then unbanked. Now in Sri Lanka, even though bank, almost everyone has a bank account, not everyone transact with that. There is still a population of unbanked population, and there's also a gap in financial literacy. Now, when we are a fintech, we use digital as our front. So there's a big challenge in getting the traditional person who uses a passbook, who is used to always meeting an agent at a branch and interacting with them, to get them onto the platform. So here again, it's much easier with AI. So for example, even credit scoring. Now, you take Dialog for example. Dialog does a score for the customers, which is how they decide what is the credit you will get for your postpaid bill. Same thing, there are fintechs who use the alternate data available about the customer to build a model to decide how much to give to them. Now, these people traditionally won't fall into a credit bureau. There will be next to no information about them, or their income is too small, banks won't even touch them. Now, with the alternate information that a telco or someone with big data can build, with proper data privacy methods and also with the customer consent, they can actually say, hey, you've been using our telco for so long, XXX, based on this, we can give you X amount in a loan. Or we can increase your postpaid credit bill by this much. Rather than, saying, okay, submit your bank statements, oh, I need to see your income statements, oh, you're a three-wheel driver, you're not going to have a bank statement, no, sorry, I'm not interested in you. So this is another very big area that is working, and we also work with the GSMA on microloans for the customers, especially for the unbanked. And AI is also helping us with financial literacy. Now, of course, AI has been around for a long time. ChatGPT coming in was like the iPhone moment for artificial intelligence, right? And why? Why did that happen? The boom happened because suddenly consumers found it very easy to interact with AI and get a response in a very conversational manner. With that, let's be honest, our bosses also found it interesting, so they were willing to put more money into these sort of investments. It's not like AI has been around for about 60 years, and probably the generative models for around 15, 20 years now. But ChatGPT was the iPhone moment, which has completely changed everything, and now everyone is going to AI. Now, also the benefit for us with fintechs is, a lot of these people with low financial literacy or unbanked people also are not very good interacting. Now, they can have a normal conversation with these bots. Now, we are working with some models where they can start talking in their natural language, in Tamil or Sinhala, or they can even use Singlish or Tanglish to interact, rather than saying, no, you have to type everything in English and use those big banking words, which makes it very easy for them. It's like, some of these people, we have noticed, have smartphones, but they don't use it for anything. They only use it for WhatsApp, probably Facebook, and a little bit of YouTube. Now, these people, like WhatsApp, they can just start interacting, asking questions, getting responses from the bot, and it will give them advice on what is the best way to do it, how to onboard. So all of these has been possible thanks to AI. AI as a force for good, like I said, some use cases, take PayPal. They are one of the largest in terms of transactions, and they're using AI for all their fraud detection because the volumes is so high and they're in so many countries, the regulations are different, what they have to look at in terms of anti-money laundering, in terms of the way money is moving, looking at what you call layering, where they have to monitor saying, if someone is using multiple transactions, all of that, if you go to monitor, as per the regulator using manual methods, it will be very, very difficult. Now, AI has really helped, and PayPal, I think, as per the last stats, they have cut down the operational cost by almost 40% using this method. And then you take Ant Financial, all of you all know Alipay and Alibaba. Now, they are offering microloans, like I told you earlier. In China, the consumer who is not in the banking history will just get a loan based on their telco history, their social information they provide, and maybe even the geographic location they live in. Based on all of that, Ant Financial immediately decides on a predetermined credit and says, hey, you want a loan? This is how much we'll give it to you. You can either use it on an app to transact and buy stuff, or you can take it out, cash out, and buy something else. Same thing happens with the robo-advisor, Betterment. Betterment is one of the large trading apps, which is digital trading apps, and they have got robo-advisory. So which means there's AI sitting in the back, advising them on how to trade. So you go and say, okay, I want to trade X amount. The robo-advisor will do the trading for you and advise you how to do it as well. The risks are the same. There's no different. They're still taking the same precautions that you will take in when you have with a day trader or someone who is advising you. But for Betterment, because now they're able to go for very small ticket values. Typically, when you come to stock trading, now we also do stock trading, it's not worthwhile for all the big stock trading companies to target customers who are doing small tickets, like 1,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees into trading, because the margins are so low and the amount of effort they had to put to communicate with that customer, advise them, having a physical person is very, very difficult. With AI, they can completely automate that, and they can look at the small ticket, bring them into the ecosystem, let them learn about trading, and then slowly take them up the chain, which is very, very good. Now, at the same time, there's a dark side to AI. So Apple Card had a massive issue where they were accused of having biasness in the AI, and a lot of people, including Wozniak, the co-founder, said, hey, my wife and I applied at the same time. I got 10 times the credit that my wife got. And we submitted the same stuff, but my wife has a better credit score in the credit bureau. How come I got 10 times the credit limit? There were so many people who complained about this to the extent that the regulator had to get involved and investigate Apple Card to see, is there some sort of gender bias happening in AI? So these are one of the stuff that can happen with AI. Then you have the frauds. Now, especially what's happening is, recently there was a fraud. Someone contacted an employee in a very large corporate in Hong Kong and said, hey, come for an urgent meeting. The whole board was in that Teams call. The CFO spoke to that person, said, okay, the CEO is here, everyone is here, can you transfer money urgently to this account? So this person was a bit suspicious because earlier she had got an email, and she said, okay, I didn't trust the email because it's not following the correct process, but hey, what are you going to do? The whole board is in a meeting, in a call with your CEO and the CFO, and they're telling you to transfer the money. She transferred the money. And to see, it was completely fake using AI. They had gone to the extent, the fraudsters had gone to the extent of having a fake video conference call in real time, conversing with the employee and answering the questions, and the money was gone. So these are the risks for financial technology which comes with AI. So the same thing, like I was saying, when we digitally onboard a customer, these can happen. So we have to take precautions for that, because the customer, we look at a video call and we look at liveliness check. Now with the AI and deep fakes, we have to be extra cautious, because otherwise these sort of things can come in. So that's the risk. And then there was the famous cyber attack in US. They used a very, very innovative method recently, and millions of dollars were taken out. And the AI was so smart, the way it was done, even the fraud systems couldn't trace that they had fraud that had happened in these transactions, because it was using a generative AI, and it was very, very smart. So these sort of risks are there with AI. So potential risks, data privacy and security. This is a big, big thing, which is very important, because AI needs a lot of data to train, right? And then we had to be very careful what data we use, how we store the data, and do we have customer consent to use that data. And if you don't train the model, you're going to have problems, because garbage in, garbage out. Same thing, you have a lot of AI-powered scams. Even in Sri Lanka, recently at the central bank, there was a presentation. Almost 600 million rupees has been stolen from people's account, where there was some part of AI or a bot involved, where they were using one-time password frauds. Now, traditionally, someone will call you. Now they're using a bot, which will impersonate a website as one of the banks, and it will say, hey, can you log in and do this? You log in. At the same time, there's a bot sitting in the back, taking all that information, logging on your behalf into the real website, stealing the money out. And within minutes, millions are gone. Then you get algorithmic bias as well. Like I said, garbage in, garbage out. If you don't put the right amount of information and clean data in to the models, what you're going to get out is also not going to be good. Same thing, there are a lot of operational risks. One question is, okay, when an AI is doing something, who takes accountability for it? Are you going to hold the model accountable, or who is going to be accountable if there's a fault or a mistake, right? And the other part is transparency. Most of the AI models are like a black box. You take lending. If a customer comes and says, hey, my friend and I have the same spend pattern, you're giving him a loan for 50,000 rupees. Why are you not giving me 50,000, or why are you giving me only 5,000? It's very hard to explain, because you don't have a normal credit officer going through the evaluation. You're using an AI to determine the score and the method to disperse. It's very hard to explain to a customer saying, okay, this is what you need to exactly do to improve your spend, right? And then there are ethical considerations as well, which is very, very important, and we have to be very conscious about what data we are storing about the customer, and do we have the consent of the customer? Are we telling the customer why we are storing it and what we are going to do with it, or are we just blindly storing it? Now, Sri Lanka, our legal team has been part of the team that has now drafted the Data Privacy Act for Sri Lanka. And anyway, we've been, because ASEATA, we are part of the global group, we have been following GDPR, but a lot of organizations are still coming onto this. That's very, very important, because you get so much data, and without customers' consent, you start building a model and start using it. Does the customer really know what you're doing with his data? Which is very, very important. So these are the potential risks. And then the future, friend or foe. We have to acknowledge the risks. Whether we like it or not, AI is going to be part and parcel of our life. It is going to make things easier in a lot of cases for fintechs, and we have to move with that. Otherwise, we can't have the competitive edge, but we need to be smart what we use it for. And then we also need to have ethical AI policies, so that we decide what we use it for, how we use it, and we are very ethical about it. And there should be human oversight, which is very important, because otherwise you're just handing it all over to a black box and you don't know what's going to happen. So that's a big risk that you're taking on. And this is something in Sri Lanka now the regulator is looking at very strongly, which is regulatory and industry standards. We still don't have that. There are drafts being done. Some of the gentlemen here I know are even involved in the drafting of it, and the government is looking at it seriously, because with the boom of AI and AI coming into so many different sectors, not only financial, other sectors as well, this is very, very important that you have proper guidelines, standards, and a common regulatory guideline that everyone can follow to make sure we're doing the right thing, and so that people don't go and do it the way they want to and think they get compliant, which is very, very important, because it's customers' data. So these are the main stuff. And then one thing I think in terms of operational risk, I forgot to mention to you all, this is a very, very important area with AI, which is you can have model failures and inaccuracies. You can also go into the risk of overly relying on your AI model, which is also a problem. You become so reliant, something goes wrong, you have no backup. You have no way of coming out of it. And like I said, the data quality, you need to have good data, you need to have clean data, which takes a lot of information and effort. You will have system downtimes, and with AI, that becomes a bigger problem the more you rely on it. And then the regulatory and compliance related risks. And then the bigger thing is the cybersecurity vulnerability. Now you're putting everything on the internet, you're giving it to your customer. Even recently, ChatGPT, suddenly there was a bug. It started exposing one person's conversation to another person. People could randomly log in and see all the conversations that were happening. Card payment data started getting leaked from ChatGPT. So you have to be very conscious. The more you expose, and you never know what the model, because these are generative models, they can start exposing stuff that they are not supposed to do. So these are the stuff that we have to be careful about. But it's a fine ground. It's something we have to live with. So thank you. Oh, this is Jeannie. I think our super app, what I told you all about. We have savings, pockets, fixed deposit, everything. I think you would have seen our people as well. We're the number one fintech app in Sri Lanka. We have everything. So we strive on giving different financial options. So it's like a one-stop marketplace for our consumers to come and get their products. And it's been built over so many years. We do use AI to a level in the back end to analyze and give the best sort of products to customers. So yeah, please do try it and see, and let us know your feedback and how it is. I think that's it. I think. Any questions anyone has? So you all will let me off easy.
Yeah. Hello. Jenny is an innovative app, so it's better than other Dialog digital products, I guess. And one more lacking thing is, when I used to create my account over there, I have used my NIC again. So why can't you connect Dialog? I'm an existing Dialog customer, right? So why can't you connect those data with this Genie app, since you are a subsidiary of Dialog?
Right. So this, again, this has nothing to do with AI, but I'll tell you something. Remember, I talked about ethical use of data. We are a subsidiary of Dialog. Dialog Finance is a subsidiary of Dialog. It depends on what product you take. So let's say you take a financial product, that's a banking product from another third party. You cannot, just because I am a subsidiary, I can't ask Dialog, give me the data of this person. Because you are giving it to a different organization. We are a separate regulated organization. So because otherwise, the regulator will also get scared. Just because you have a subsidiary, you can't take the data from there. It's very important. So from customer experience perspective, yes, we are looking at probably getting the customer consent and then looking at it, but then also we are obliged as a third party, like when you provide a financial service, right? You have to vet that customer yourself. There's something called know your customer. We have to do it ourselves. So there are certain stuff we have to do to make sure the person coming on is who they are, and because you could have given your details to a telco for a different reason and your financial product is different and you might need additional information provided. So that's a bit of a give and take. So, but we are very careful. We keep arm's length so that we don't share any, we are not allowed to.
Okay, that's great. One more question. So when we place FDs on central banks, so we do have guarantee, like so some part of amount, so insurance payment, like if your organization runs out of what you call bankruptcy, so sometimes who holds that act over here? Are you registered under central bank or you are under the patronage of Dialog? Or
Dialog Finance is the regulated entity of the central bank who provides all the financial products. Hence why I told you Dialog Finance doesn't have access to the data at Dialog. Dialog Finance is completely regulated by the central bank. So it's like any other financial organization. So if you've seen the logo, there's Genie and there's Dialog Finance. You have Dialog Asiata and then there's Dialog Finance, which is a subsidiary, which is a fully regulated entity monitored by the central bank. So it's no different from you using any other financial institute.
Okay, thanks. Great.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Varuna from Central Bank. Are you planning to allow savings accounts of other banks to connect with Genie? Because at the moment, either you have to have an account with Dialog or Dialog PLC, or you have to have a credit card.
Sorry, Varuna, is it?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So Varuna, you mean to say viewing savings information from another bank on Genie, is it?
No, if you take other, what you call mobile banking apps, they allow connection of other bank savings accounts to the mobile app in order to carry out transactions. Are you planning that in?
We already have that. That's called a rail called Just Pay, where
Yes.
you can link your savings account and you can use it to top up. So let's say you have another bank A account.
Is it already available?
Yes, it is there.
Are you sure that
Yes, it
it's
is there.
working? Because I tried it, it doesn't work. If it's already there, you just
Okay.
just need to
because
check
that's
that.
one of our, we are the largest or second largest in terms of transactions for Just Pay, which is what you're referring to in Sri Lanka,
Okay.
which is basically you pull money and then you pay your bill or you fund your wallet or your savings account or you purchase something on the app with them.
Yeah, actually, Genie was given permission for that feature as well, but it's not available in the app. That's why I raised it.
I'll show it to you after
Sure.
this. Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
I think.
Thank you all for your questions, and thank you, Andrew Aryaratnam, for that insightful presentation.